There's no intro video today, so I guess we're just jumping right into it. So I see Chuck and Cujo here, long-time listeners, zero-time callers. Really appreciate you guys being around and always telling Razzle and myself how much you guys appreciate the content. So that's really, really cool. While we get a few others to kind of walk through the door here, see, so we got one guy watching, one guy. That means even Cujo or Chuck hasn't turned their camera. There's three. There we now we're cooking with gas. How you doing today, Razzle? Happy Friday.
I am getting through the day. Not feeling the greatest overall, but whatever. We grind through everything.
So that's a health thing, not a attitude thing.
Yeah, it's a gut thing.
No bueno. It's happy hour Friday. I'm assuming you're not going to partake.
I have a Celsius.
Celsius? I don't even know what that is. Oh, a drink? Some kind of a drink?
Healthy energy drink, yeah.
No, healthy schmelthy. Good Lord. Have you looked already at the implied run totals today? Do you know what the Yankees is?
It is through the roof, yes.
That's a disgusting implied run total. It'd be hard if you had a single side of that to take. It'd be hard to take the over in that one. I know it's Coors, but it's a lot. Tall order. Probably could do it in the third inning though. Let's see. Tattoos in here too. Today, my personal beer. I saw this in the grocery store and this messed me up. I saw kind of ale on the bottom and thought, sure, we'll give it a shot. I like ales. I like lagers. This one, when I got it home, and I remembered it from one store to the next, and I bought it at the second store. So like it said giraffe on it. I'm like, well, that's kind of cool. Whatever. Cool can, cool logo, a giraffe beer. What's that about? I get it home, and it says low-cal tropical ale with mango. Dude, I done effed up on this one. I don't think there's much of a chance that I'm going to be buying another 6 of that and enjoy it. I mean, if anybody else, mango beers are okay. In some cases, it's not usually my thing, so I don't have high hopes for that. But a low-cal tropical, I am not drinking beer for the low-cal, man. That's not my thing. That is not where I go. But whatever. Here we go. Cheers to Friday. Well, you can smell that mango coming at you right out of the gate. That's not bad, though. Okay. I'm pleasantly surprised. Still not going to buy another 6-pack of this stuff, but you may as well put whipped cream on top. Exactly right. That's pretty funny. Let's dive in. We'll do the rundown. We'll hit the pitchers and stacks and weather and all that stuff here in a bit. We have a 12-game slate today. Coors Field, the Yankees. I mean, as if we didn't just get rid of a high-scoring team in the Philadelphia Phillies. Now we got the Yankees. So I guess we're just going to have to be overweight the damn chalk there again. Although good luck getting a 5-man stack at those prices. That's going to be a little difficult. Maybe Razzle will shed some light on that one here in a minute. But starting pitchers, your top 3 chalk pitchers right now were Chris Sale, Kikuchi, and Zach Wheeler. I have 2 question marks that I hope Razzle gets to when we talk about those pitchers. There's a slight delay chance, 20%, 30% of rain or whatever in Boston and with the New York Mets. I'm not that worried about it. It showed that Tampa, 88 degrees, and the wind blowing out to right there at like 7 miles an hour. 88 warm degrees is nice. Nothing else was over 80 degrees. Your chalk stacks, I mean, again, chalk is a relative term on such a big slate of 12 games, but the Yankees, of course, Texas and Baltimore might have questions there for Razzle when we get to the stacks part. And then I'll save BVP for the dong calls because instead of the actual individual dong calls, I've got too many stacks that I think might have a little bit of dong pop to them tonight. So let's dive in. First of all, how has your week been so far? We saw some people talking in the beginner's room a little bit that their week has been bad. Mine's been bad. I did cash one booster early in the week and have pretty much had bupkis since. Have you done a little better since last time we talked?
Yeah, I absolutely crushed yesterday during the day. Could have been even better. at one point in one of my 150 GPPs, and this is one point late in the day or late in the slate, I was sitting 1st through 3rd and 8th through 10th.
Nice.
Didn't quite finish that well, but still absolutely destroyed that day slate. But then last night I got absolutely destroyed. But really, it was the day slate. I went super overweight on 3 main pitchers. All 3 of them crushed. Night slate, super overweight on Smith-Shawver, and he got destroyed. So
yeah,
as pitching goes is how my lineups go.
Yeah, that's going to make for a rough night, no doubt about that. I think I had 4 pitchers last night, and Smith-Shawver was probably in about 60% of my lineups. Ouch. Those were dead. And I didn't stack I don't know if it was last night or the night before. I didn't have Christian Yelich when he hit his 2 bombs. I didn't have Houston last night, and they kind of went off. I was just like, this is just whatever. I can shut the phone off early and just look to tomorrow, because that's a burn the tape type of day. What are you going to do? What do you got for us today in terms of pitching and stuff? I know we can talk about the video or whatever that you dropped a couple of hours ago, but what do you have to share with anybody watching as of right now? Any kind of, because when you get through your stuff, if you don't mention the names, I'll ask you about a couple of pitchers that I kind of saw.
Well, one, we have a pitcher change in Sacramento. Basically, as we went live, they are going from Jeffrey Springs to Jacob Lopez. Lopez has made 4 appearances at the major league level this year. His one start, he threw 84 pitches in 2 2/3 innings, allowed 10 base runners against Texas. Not the greatest spot for Lopez to be thrown in against the Phillies. I think that makes me like Philadelphia even more, which is tough to say considering they're a tier 1 stack. From a pitching standpoint, it's just a great matchup. I mean, it's tough because they're coming out of Coors, right? But then now they're going to, I don't know, can we call Sacramento Coors Light at this point? I don't. The amount of home runs that have happened over the weekend were insane. So, I don't know. That game total rivals Coors as it is. So, pitching wise, I think it's mostly spend up, to be honest, which is not what people want to hear when we have
Coors,
Philadelphia and the Yankees as the clear top 2 teams, plus then the Dodgers right behind them. I think people are going to try to get away with using like Kikuchi and Clark Schmidt together. Kikuchi and Sale. Sale's slightly underpriced compared to kind of the rest. He's cheaper than Tyler Mahle is. Mahle, slightly better matchup. Chris Sale, far greater ceiling. My GPP stance play of the day is Noah Cameron of the Royals against the Twins.
How do you feel about Zach Wheeler? I saw that was asked already in the chat.
I mean, he's the best. I mean, I think he's legitimately the actual best pitcher in baseball right now, which is weird to say because he's 35, 36, has a lot of miles on him, multiple surgeries, but he just seems to keep getting better. 11K is healthy. I haven't tried to hand build many lineups yet, but as we kind of get going here, I might, on one of my monitors, try to see if I can get a Wheeler build with Philadelphia or the Yankees somehow. Just see if it's at all possible. It most likely then is going to include Clark Schmidt or Eric Lauer.
I was going to say, you're going to have to go way the hell down SP2. Or you're going to be focused on bottom of both orders.
Yeah, it really comes to playing around with it, right? I think that's one thing that people generally don't do enough of, is trying to make things work. They just see that things don't work and then they give up on it. Madness, I'll DM those to you later.
You said that, you can't give up on it. You're just going to have to play around with it. Right as Madness says he's here for the nudes. I'm like, all right, I know it's Friday, but we're off the rails.
I mean, I could have hand delivered him to his door last night. I was in Green Bay, so.
What you two do in your own time, that is your business.
Well, you know.
Kindly leave me out of it. Could you imagine if Razzle walked up, you hear knock, knock, knock on the door, or Madness walks up to his door and Razzle's there going, deedle, deedle, deedle. Yeah, I did it. I was like, oh, I can't even.
Sounds like something we could make happen.
I'm sure if you do, please put it on Twitter or something. It'd be outstanding. I mean, you know what? We'd probably get a few more people watching the show. So Dixon's not here to tell everybody to like and subscribe to the show. So I guess we'll have to do something. Maybe he'll go nipple twist at Madness's door. God. All right, back on the rails. I wanted to ask you about Eric Lauer. He was one of them. I noticed in Neely's Carnage report, and this is something that I always will key on. I'll look here, it catches my eye, and then I might dig a little bit further. But his K score is a 533 right now, which indicates Tampa's doing some striking out. Do you think he's at all viable?
I mean, he's viable because Tampa Bay is just horrendous against left-handed pitching. Team ISO of 095 against left-handed pitchers on the season.
Mm-hmm.
Super just weak. The actual lineup, I just looked at it, 099 against left-handed pitchers this season.
I mean, that's like me batting cleanup for you.
It's not good, which is it's rough because this lineup is right-hand heavy. It's a ballpark that I believe from StatCast numbers has favored right-handed batters from a power standpoint. I'm trying to bring that up as I speak here for home run wise. It's ballpark factor for right-handed bats is the second best park for power. So like something is going to change. Lauer, not overly great, and he's all over the place in terms of pitch count, etc. But I feel like we just have to ride, the stance I've taken for a couple weeks now in my videos, left-handed pitching against Tampa Bay, and don't overthink it until Tampa Bay's numbers start to correct themselves.
Sure. Where would you come down on Pablo Lopez against Kansas City as well? He actually has the highest Carnage numbers tonight, and his K score is also a 500. Now, Zach Wheeler, 566. I get it. His VK scores off the charts, matchup dependent, 648 or 658. I get all of that stuff, but I mean, Pablo Lopez kind of surprised me a little bit too.
I mean, Lopez having the second highest DK projection on our site is a little surprising, but he's been super strong. I just don't think overall the Kansas City lineup's super dangerous. They haven't been striking out a ton, which is obviously the main issue.
Which is what makes that K score interesting.
Right. They might be striking out a little more recently. I haven't looked at the recent numbers. But still, it's just that lineup is weak enough as it is. It's going to be upper 50s and 60 degrees, wind slightly blowing in. It feels like the right spot for Pablo Lopez, but I also think that it's the right spot for Noah Cameron on the other side.
Let me ask you, if you had to, with the Kansas City Royals stack, because it'll come up someday down the road again, who would you accept as one-offs outside of stacks? Click the little link button in the DS. Would you click the link on almost everybody in that lineup except for who that you would allow as one-offs somewhere else?
I mean, really, it's only Bobby Witt at this point. Michael Garcia, maybe, because he's been having such a strong season. Salvador Perez just hasn't been very good. So, I'd only want him as a one-off dart at catcher. I don't want him to show up at first base on DK. It's just they're a team that has underperformed just way too much so far this season. They came into the year with a lot of expectations based on how they played last year. But I'd see that they DFA'd Hunter Renfroe today too, which is something that I would have never thought was going to happen. But yeah, really Witt just because he's matchup proof. Michael Garcia, the season has just been so good that it's probably him too.
Yeah, because I usually just hit the link on all of them. Like I've been including Pasquantino just in case he hits a bomb. But other than that, like Perez is one I usually would allow as a one-off. Boom, I'm putting the link on him. Witt, no, of course not. But all of the others, even Mikhail Garcia, I've put him. I've put the link on him because unless I'm stacking Royals, I just don't want to see them in very many of my lineups. Don to Play asks if you can get LA bats. He likes LA. They've been hitting the ball really hard lately, of course. And can you get the Angels bats in there to pay for higher priced pitchers? Is that an avenue you would pursue?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think the Angels are going to be over-owned. Obviously, they have a ton of power. They've been hitting home runs. They're coming out of a series in Sacramento where their numbers are skewed based on that series. There's some things that I like about Alcantara tonight, which is weird because he's been so bad this season. But some of his prop numbers lean towards he might straighten a few things out. So I feel like the Angels mini stacks and stuff are going to be somewhat popular, but it makes sense. I mean, I'm still playing, Taylor Ward and Ohapi and Neto, guys that have been good for more than just the last few days.
Right. Their full stacks are showing pretty low in terms of projected ownership, like really, really low. So I don't know. We'll have to see how that, I guess, shakes itself out. So if we're going to talk stacks, we might as well dive in and we might as well figure out what your tier stacks are, because the chalk stacks, like I said, Philly, I've got them shown here on the leverage stack sheet. New York, Texas, Baltimore. I misspoke with Philly. I was looking at yesterday's or 2 days ago's sheet on a piece of paper. But the Yankees, the Rangers, and Baltimore. The Yankees are the number one leverage team out in Coors because they're so expensive. It's going to be so hard to fully stack them. But Texas and Baltimore seem like a pairing that people might like as somewhat of the full stack, and then throw Yankees in as a mini stack, I guess. But the leverage, they're just not going to generate much, I guess, because of that. It looks like middle of the road, 16th, 19th in the leverage rank over here on the right-hand side. It looks like Philly, that's a good call. Philly generates a lot of leverage tonight, according to the chart. And, of course, the Dodgers. Yankees and Dodgers and Cubs, generally are just generating leverage because they're just so expensive. It's got to be where that's going. Let's play, since guys are in here, let's play Guess the Tiers. Because I already know, I bet you already got your first three in tier one. You leaked out the one with Philly. So I got that one. We'll just lock Philly in. Anybody else want to throw some guesses out at what Razzle's tier one stacks might be before he announces them? Because I've got a couple of picks, and it's going to be kind of interesting to see where everybody else goes. If anybody cares to play, which
I mean,
come on, guys, get in here. It's not that hard to type on a keyboard.
Unfortunately, it should be super easy to figure out the two tier one.
Arizona. Tattoo says Arizona. I'm going to say no.
They did not make it into tier one on this slate.
Atlanta, I'm going to say no.
No, Atlanta did not make it into my top 12 at all.
Oh, that's interesting. Sorry, Don, buddy, old pal. It's like you just threw a dart and missed the whole board with that one. What are you doing?
I'm just not fully stacking against Pavetta. I'll gladly mini stack against him with like Olsen and Ozuna, etc. But I don't really have a desire to fully stack against Pavetta.
I'm seeing Angels and Blue Jays. Any of those work?
No,
nope. For tier one.
Not in tier one. Actually, both of those ended up in tier three. I wanted Toronto to be higher.
Wow.
But I chose Houston over Toronto. I'll give away a tier two team. I chose Houston over Toronto in tier two.
Interesting. And I'm going to guess St. Louis isn't in there either. They could be. There might be an outside. I doubt they're tier one. There could be an outside shot tier two, but I don't think so.
St. Louis did not make my top 12 either.
Okay. Now, I'm going to say the two tier 1 teams, because I think you hinted at these earlier too. That's kind of where I'm going with this. Dodgers and Yankees.
Not the Dodgers. Dodgers
okay.
Ended up in tier 2.
Tier 2.
Could be tier 1 for sure, but I didn't.
You did not miss tier 1. We're doing that now. Phillies in there. Yankees are in there. You said Dodgers are tier 2 with Houston. That's where we're at.
I mean, Phillies and Yankees are the only two in.
Okay, so you've only got two in tier 1. But you said that
I went back to having only 2 tier 1 teams.
Okay.
We had that weird slate recently where I ended up with more tier 1 than tier 2. But
then we've got to round out tier 2. How many teams are in tier 2?
3.
Only 3, so we've got one left. We've got Philly and New York in tier 1, New York Yankees, and then Houston and the LA Dodgers in tier 2. There's Arizona again. There's the Mets.
Yeah, I think I gave away Arizona.
Did you say they were tier?
They're tier 2.
All right. Well, somebody was listening better than I was. Good job, Tattoo. And then everybody else kind of is tier 3. You might as well round them out and tell us. We could be all day guessing on those. But this is a fun little game. I like how we're doing this. It's a fun little game to play.
Boston, Baltimore, both in tier 3.
Boston and Baltimore.
Baltimore's been terrible, but Giolito can explode.
Oh, God, yes.
So he's super volatile. So I'll gladly play, 6%-ish Baltimore stacks. Boston kind of blew their load a little bit to end game 1 of the doubleheader. Does worry me. Bregman got hurt in the first game of the doubleheader. That worries me, but they're taking on Trevor Rogers, who has like a 7 ERA in the minors in his rehab to start the season. The Mets fall in tier 3. As gross or as bad as it feels to say that I want to pick on Kershaw, I do want to pick on Kershaw right now, but the Mets have been ice cold over the last 10 days or so.
With Kershaw, it's like his second start, and he's old, and this is like mid-April for him, so I get it.
His velocity is just down. I don't want to rely on him having to face a major league lineup allowing contact right now, but he does come in against the Mets when they're struggling. So maybe, and that's kind of why the Mets ended up in tier 3, is they've just been struggling so much recently. I think I might have referred to it on my video today. At least I think it was the Mets I was referring to, but I feel like they're averaging like 2 runs a game over the last week and 3.5 runs per game in May. So numbers have been really down. Toronto made tier 3. I really wanted to put them in tier 2, but I kind of like Drew Rasmussen a little bit as a pitcher, not using him tonight. So kind of had to slide that down just because I don't necessarily love the full Toronto lineup. I like Bits Pizzas a little bit more. Seattle, just because they're on the road. They've had some strong performances on the road this season, but again, they end up in tier 3 just because I prefer just a few pieces. Texas, they can explode, but Texas has been bad. And then the Angels ended up in tier 3 just because Alcantara's been bad and the Angels have been hitting home runs. But the Angels also, let me update my numbers here. I'm going to say they're either the most strikeouts in baseball or the second most, if I can get that page to refresh.
They've been flip-flopping.
With
you
Colorado.
Said last week, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of every couple days they flip-flop. I have a feeling they're not last just because they just hit a bunch of home runs and made some contact against the A's. But, yeah, that page just does not want to load up for me.
So no St. Louis, no Detroit.
No, Detroit's without Riley Green today, which he would have been my favorite bat. For whatever reason, he's getting a rest day. I debated playing Slade Ciccone in my pitcher pool, but I'm just kind of off of them as a stack. Feels weird, but I think missing a guy like Riley Green with how well he's been playing kind of puts them off my my radar a bit. St. Louis, just not necessarily a big St. Louis guy as a stack. Just not a big St. Louis guy in period. Feels like they just have to put a lot of hits together.
Oh, yeah.
And I just don't want to rely on that with the way that Major League Baseball has become. When multiple hits starts happening, then managers are so quick to go to the bullpen. And then that kind of ruins how you've built your stack. Because a lot of it you're basing.
Donovan's your 3-hole hitter.
Yeah, that's one thing that just doesn't sit great with me.
You just don't have a lot of power. He's a better 1 or a 2. If you do stack St. Louis, I would say you've got to include Ivan Herrera when he's in the lineups. Of course, you've got to make sure that he's in there because he's about the only one delivering consistent power right now. The rest of it is very lightning strikey, if you will. Like you can run into 2 or 3 bombs in a night. I don't even like using them as mini stacks unless they're really scoring a lot of runs, because what do I want? A couple little needle dicks in there as my little mini stack? It doesn't make sense to me. I need power.
Arenado's had solid numbers against Gallen, but I'm still just not stacking against Zach Gallen. I don't care that he got lit up by the Rockies last time out.
Let me throw my BVP at everybody, and then you do your Dawn calls, unless you've got something deeper diving into some kind of a stack. I mean, we cover your tiers. We pretty much know where you're at. So,
no, I don't really like. There's a lot of difference between teams on the slate for me from a stacking perspective, and it sucks because it's all expensive guys, but. I was really shocked to see that Philadelphia actually is 6th in total ownership, leverage stack wise.
Which, for those that tuned in late and didn't hear this, if there was a tier higher than tier 1 for your stacks, like tier 0, that's where you'd be tempted to put those Phillies today.
Yeah, especially because of the pitching change. Like, Springs wasn't exactly elite anyways, but it's still a huge change to Jacob Lopez, who walks a bunch of guys, etc. And right-handed power in Sacramento has been just a massive thing, too. I know I quoted right-handed power in for Tampa Bay, but I'm blind. Sacramento is 6th best, 32% above average for home runs for right-handed bats so far this season. Which, I mean, that's a huge number. Where Tampa Bay is 40%. So those minor league ballparks so far have favored right-handed bats by a lot. Strikeouts are suppressed for whatever reason in Sacramento. Don't know what it is. In fact, it's the 4th lowest strikeout park for right-handed bats in baseball this season.
Let me get Don's question answered here. He said, his tournament lineup only lets him get 4 players a team. So if a 4-man stack, can he take 3 out of the 4 or 2 or 1? Don, are you playing on FanDuel? Is that why you can only get 4? Or was it a price thing on like DraftKings? Because obviously you're going to want to take 4, and you're going to want a 4x3 over on FanDuel if you can. You just want to go big. A general rule of thumb on big slates is just go almost as big as you can on either side of things. Now, Razzle will always stay on the 5x2 side, but if there's an opportunity to do 5x3, tonight's not a bad night to do it. Just because the slate is so big, hitting 2 offenses and getting every bat you can. I mean, you're not going to get the Yankees and the Phillies, or the Yankees and another expensive team, the Dodgers, at a 5x3 or even a 5x2. It's going to be a little difficult. But now it's Bet365. Oh, that's interesting. Tournament only. Bet365. I'm not familiar with the format.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that at all.
4-man stack. Can I take 3 out of the 4 or 2 or 1? If it's a team that you like, if it's the Phillies or it's the Yankees or if it's something that you're going to go with, I mean, I would just put as many in there as I can, not knowing the rules, not knowing the format, not knowing any of that. Just as a general concept for tournament play and the upside and the correlation that you need to be successful in baseball, more times than not, you're going to find yourself giving yourself the best ceiling that you can get in something when you take the biggest stack the site allows. Like for years, Yahoo allowed 6, take all 6. I mean, the better you can do, oftentimes that provides more leverage, especially because people tend to get greedy or fearful as players, and when they get a little bit too afraid to go all in on a team, like a full 5-man stack on DraftKings, and they back down to 4 or back down to 3, that's why the 5-man stack works, is because some people still don't do it. They don't take that risk and commit to the boom or bust because, at least I can min cash with something. Min cash be damned. You got to win these things. They're so top heavy these days in their pay structures. You got to win them. And if you're not going for the win, you're probably leaving some money on the table long term. So Bet365 does have DFS contests. That's interesting to me. I hope that kind of helps. I mean, you would agree, right? You'd go full 4 if you can, or as big as you can, right?
Yeah. I think at some point it becomes minus EV. So I don't even know if 6 is a good thing. 7 for sure is just too many from a team, because it's just impossible for a team to, not impossible, but like you basically need the Boston Red Sox from today to support all 7 guys producing enough. So there's like a sweet spot somewhere. But yeah, it's 4 or 5, whatever the max is. You want to go that route.
Let me. Oh, they're free. Let's throw out the BVP stuff for me. The 2 mini stacks that I would do, or that I would consider, that are BVP approved, if you will, are Marcell Ozuna in Atlanta with Austin Riley. Riley's got 2 bombs off of Pivetta, and you're going against a really, really good pitcher, so that will scare a lot of people away. And Ozuna's 8 for 31 with 6 bombs out of those 8. Now, those averages aren't great, and their OPSs aren't great, but dong, dong, dong. If they do get lucky and run into a couple against Pivetta for whatever reason, they've shown some historical track record that they can do that. But the other one that I would use, and this one, it's a smaller sample, but I kind of like it more because just quality of pitcher. Miles Michaelis does not tend, when he's on, he gives up a lot of ground balls and a lot of little singles and whatever. But when he's off, he tends to watch balls fly across rivers. And Suarez and Kittle Marte in Arizona both have bombs off of him. Suarez has 2, and Suarez is 6 for 14. So now Marte is only 1 for 8. So again, but the one was a bomb. He might have luck boxed into one. I never mind stacking against Miles Michaelis, because he just seems, when he's wrong, he's really wrong. So why don't you throw your dawn calls out there, and we'll see if there's anything else to talk about tonight, and throw it back to everybody else.
One second. I was responding.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm going back to Isaac Paredes. He's just been hitting home runs over the last 2 weeks. Not very pretty, as in like he's mostly like a 1 for 4, 1 for 3 type recently, but he just fits that ballpark so well. So anytime they're playing at home, I love his home run upside. Going back to Dalton Varsho, who's hit a bunch of home runs recently, 7 home runs in 57 plate appearances against right-handed pitching so far. And I keep jumping on Nick Castellanos, and he keeps not homering, so I'm going back again.
And that's important to point out as well. When somebody keeps burning you, a lot of players, he's dead to me, I unfriend you, all the popular phrases. there's something to be said for continuing to go back to the well, because the guy's going to get his numbers, and you want to be there when he does.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, he's just going to wake up against a left-handed pitcher and hit home runs, and now he's in a ballpark that actually is better for right-handed bats for home runs than Coors is.
For your sake, I hope he hits 3. I hope he hits 3 out tonight and repays all those slates.
That would be really nice. I'd settle for.
He would allow it
for 1. But yes, I would gladly accept 3.
And I hope you're overweight. I hope you're overweight the field when it happens. What other
ballpark based, really?
What other insights do you have for us? Because I got to be honest with you, I've got a patio party starting in the neighborhood, and I think it's time that I slap some lineups in there and get down the road to drink more of this freaking giraffe stuff until it's gone.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot. Dodgers do have numbers against Canning in their career. So we could see some regression from Griffin Canning tonight, and it could then annoy me that they ended up tier 2 rather than tier 1. But I don't know. I'm kind of going underweight on some recent trends, with the Angels and all their home runs. See Dwayne asking what stack though. I mean, I like the Phillies. I like the Yankees. I mean, I like Houston probably more than a lot of people do. Arizona. I do like Toronto a bit, but they just didn't make it high on my list. I mean, I like a mix of chalky ones, but according to our leverage station, like Philadelphia isn't all that chalky. Maybe I should refresh and see if percentages changed. But let me see. They're still 6th. So it's tough to not like Philadelphia at those percentages, to be honest. I'm trying to think, the Dodgers lower owned than that even. I mean, it's still the Dodgers offense. Boston's pretty low. Kind of shocking. I would thought there'd be some recency bias with how many runs they just put up today in the first game, but and whipped cream goes on everything, just so you know.
Hey, it goes on a lot of things. It does not go on beer. But DePrince has a question for you too. Question about pitching. Do you look at the full season or do you look at 30 days or so in the past 30 days? What numbers do you put a little more weight on?
I look at it all, and it's tough to say that as an answer. I look at their traditional split numbers, etc., and I compare them to what they've done so far, in almost 2 months of a season, just to see if we should expect some positive or negative regression. I really like recent trends, like over the last, say, 3 to 4 starts, which is 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how the calendar falls. But I don't know, like when I look at trends, it's recent trends, so it's real small sample size. When I look to try to predict how they might do in a matchup, it's going to be a combination of this year's splits with career numbers, just to get an idea. But then you also compare that to the opponent's recent trends from an offensive standpoint. So, that's why Eric Lauer is in my pool tonight, because his opponent's trends are just terrible against left-handed pitching. It's not that Eric Lauer is a great pitcher in my mind. I think he was DFA'd by multiple teams last year trying to come back. So it's really a lot of it ends up being matchup based. I just wish we could. I wish we could figure out a way to label guys as matchup based only or matchup proof. Those type of players, both pitchers and hitters, but it'd be so specialized to try to figure that out. Sorry, Tattoo, I can't pray for your Oilers. The Stars go up 2-0 this evening. I'm surprised there are any Oilers fans left after the third period the other night. But I don't know if Lauer can go long enough on FanDuel. I just don't know if he has 6 innings. Like, it has to be super efficient. We just don't really know what his pitch count range is, unfortunately. Plus, I just don't think you ever have to go super cheap on pitcher on FanDuel. Just the way the pricing is in general, I just don't think you have to do it.
Did you get a Philly New York lineup built? Were you able to massage that and make that happen?
I got a New York lineup built with Zach Wheeler. It's a 5-1 build, 5-1-1-1. Couldn't quite pair enough.
Who are your 1-1-1-1s? I mean, are those guys just, again, bottom order punts?
Is there Curtis Mead, who's like 4 for his last 9. He's a one-off because he's in the lineup against left-handed pitcher. Jonathan Clase at the bottom of the lineup for Toronto, but he's been
that was not
hot recently. Like, he's 4 for his last 10, I think, when I did my research. The last one was just Josh Rojas at third, which feels gross. I think I should probably look because I think Vivas can play both positions, but yeah, there's no second baseman that I could play. So it's gross. I mean, I could probably go from Clark Schmidt to Lauer to get a couple $100 more and maybe make something else work, but it is doable. It feels very, very gross to do, but it is possible. So I did enter it in the $11 $50K to first on DK.
I'll tell you what, if I remember Monday, I'll ask you the results just to see how it went, because that's a feast or famine situation. And if you get lucky and one of those punts has a multi-hit day or something like that, and the Yankees score 12.
I mean, if I get lucky, you won't have to wait until Monday to hear about it, because I will make sure to remind you of what I was able to pull off.
You'll put whipped cream on it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll send you a picture of the team with whipped cream all over it.
God, I'm so glad you didn't say yourself there.
I mean,
save that for Madness's doorway.
It could be something similar to whipped cream. I don't know. But, yeah, if that lineup pays off, then, yeah, there will be something.
Okay, cool.
I
can't promise you a swag bag. I don't have the authority to give that to you.
I don't need any more swag bags.
I mean,
to be honest, I mean, I've won my fair share of them and given them away, but also, like, Nick has treated me very well because of the live content I've done and the things I've done outside being on Sirius XM, going on other company shows on YouTube, etc. Like, he made sure I've had enough DFS Army gear to
wear
for those. Yeah, so I don't need any more. If I do win more, I just end up giving them away to members in Discord.
Well, that's cool. So that's just another reason I didn't plug it at all today. Shame on me. MLB Live coupon 10% off. Friends don't let friends go swagless. That's what we'll say today. You know what? I think that does it about does it for me. Probably yourself. I'm trying to see if there's anything that I've forgotten. I don't think that I have. I think I got it all. Even got that last second plug in there, so I'm not 0 for today. I don't get fired, hopefully, today. But may your lineups do well. May Madness and Tattoo and Darth Pasta and the other staffers that popped in here and all of the members, of course. Don't forget to like the show, and also don't forget to use that coupon code if you're not a member yet. We've had a couple of guys come in off of here. Hopefully they're having some success, and we'll see everybody at the top of the leaderboards. Final words, Razzle. I'm going to say happy Friday to everybody, and when you're done, we'll send it to commercial break.
Happy Friday, and let's see Noah Cameron win GPPs this evening.
I do need to add one more thing, and that is, Razzle, thank you for always sharing your mind and sharing your insight in here for everybody, because At least as far as the most of us in the MLB staff, we do not have your mind for baseball. So really appreciate it.
I appreciate that. Obviously, I feel like sometimes I just ramble too much with the random shit that pops into my head about baseball.
Nope, that's my job. I'm the rambler.
But it's fun uncovering new things and being able to share them. Obviously, we share information here, but a lot of the deep random stuff ends up member only through Discord.
Where it should.
Because it's completely random for me. Like I just stumble across things and I make sure to point them out and get them into the members' heads. So when it comes to building lineups later on, they have.
I know those guys. Thank you. I just wanted to say it too. And on behalf of all of them, thanks again. And we'll see everybody Monday at 5:30.
Monday it is.
All right. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Monday will be my last show for a little bit.
Right.
Go back to career work in the office on Tuesday. So it'll be a little bit before I can straighten out my schedule in order to be on more often than not. I may pop in from time to time, but just timing wise, getting home and everything might be a little off for a few weeks.
And don't worry, you guys. You're not going to have to deal with me riding solo. We've got backups. We've got Darth Passa's ending his teaching for the year, his summer starting. Tattoo did a great job when he filled in last week. We've got others. Madness, you're welcome to jump on here as we can co-host. And if I can't make a show, then maybe it's 2 random new guys. And we'll see how it all works. Wish you luck, Razzle, on your new endeavor. And we'll see you on Monday to maybe share some more details about how you won $50,000. Won a couple $100,000 and don't need that job.
That would be perfect, really, to be honest. But I don't know that that's going to happen. So
either way, you guys, everybody take care. Have a good weekend, and we'll catch you on the other side. For me and Razzle and DFS Army, take care.
You got it, Chuck.
I got it, Matthew.
Man.